and then he changes up the story.
Oh, man. It would just, like you said, in fact, I haven't heard from him now for about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, me neither, actually. I just got an email from him the other day. I was like, oh,
you got an email from him?
Yeah, and he was asking for photos. He was asking for my phone. It's like, no, I just didn't even know. It's like,
he takes these photos of these beautiful trains.
Yeah.
And it is actually quite interesting because in China they don't go from one end to the other. I don't know how that works now. I can't remember. But you don't get out and go back to the other end.
Right.
I'm not sure how it works. But anyhow, he was showing me and the trains are awesome.
Yeah.
But he said, he goes over and he says, oh, I'm driving. Well, you don't drive in a month. Holy smokes.
I asked him too. I asked him once, I was like, sorry, Ethan, I asked him, I'm like, hey, can I see a photo of you in your operator's outfit? Or like see you in the driver's seat or something?
Yeah.
Sorry, they don't allow me to do that. You know, like he's saying, oh, Edmonton's got blah, blah, blah in their garage or something. Can I see a photo? Oh, sorry, they don't let me do that. You know, and it's like, okay, sure.
There we go. Yeah. I knew it.
Everything you heard from him just, it's all wrong.
Yeah, I could never prove anything because it's always, like you said, distant. And I'm like, I don't know about this guy. Like, let's deal in reality here.
Yeah.
I don't know, why do people do that?
He stepped on a lot of people's toes.
Wow. I'm going to have to wait till I tell my wife. Oh, man. That's funny. I couldn't believe it when you said Daniel. I'm like,
it's like he knows.
He knows him. Wow.
What do you say the year of this car is?
2046. That'd be 82. I want to see. No, this would be an 83 as well.
Yeah, just like.
Yeah.
You can. This motor, you can really hear it even at low speed.
That's right.
Like watch.
I love that sound. I love that clicking noise.
See, the motor kicks anyway.
Oh yeah, and that time my bus had a minor oil leak. And he starts freaking out at bridle with me. Oh, shut it down. Oh, you gotta get me on the bus. Oh my God. And I said, no, I'm calling in and I can go to Fish Creek. It's not that big a deal.
Is it 7758? That one had the oil leak.
Yeah.
Well, I made a mistake with going all the way out to Lake Louise with him on the bus.
Oh no.
It was just non-stop. Yeah.
I know.
There's, I don't know, one of their new MCI coaches out there.
Okay.
They run between Banff and Lake Louise.
Yeah.
I don't know, the transmission wasn't shifting quite properly or something.
Yeah.
And he started, oh my God, this thing's gonna blow up on that. Like, the transmission isn't shifting, it probably needs minor servicing.
Yeah.
Let me sleep. I was like, can I just it's an hour ride, right? And I was just like, I'm just gonna take a nap here, right? And I kept talking, going to sleep. I'm sitting there half asleep, and he's just like, yeah, so blah blah blah, Stephanie or whatever.
You know that's
what?
I just looked over and I noticed, I couldn't believe it, that bus, that's the Route 2.
Yeah.
And it's still the same route as in 81, 82. I don't know if it is a Route 2 actually.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah, and they turn around there.
That's one of the ones they haven't changed since.
Wow.
Because it used to, before the train was out here, it was extended out to the west side of Exeter. Then during the construction, it ran a little loop through Signal Hill. But now it's back to its original.
Oh, it did, eh? Yeah, now they put it back.
Now it's
okay, I looked over and I go, no way.
Yeah, you know, it's the same up to Beddington and it loops around the Safeway. Yeah, it's all the same.
I used to pull in there and stop, go into the store.
Yeah, you get pizza there.
Yeah.
I love that clicking sound.
Oh, me too, dude. I love it.
This is probably my favorite car now, where you can really hear the motor.
from Ontario, and he gets out on this side, and we're looking at the damage.
Yeah.
And what happened was, that's right. Looking at the damage, it was broken headlight, the bumper was twisted a little bit. Get this. I look up the hill, and I will never forget his name, Robert Chong, Oriental guy. He's coming down the hill in the bus, and he's like this. Forget about stopping. That's what he's saying. I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
And I could see him, and wham, he hit the car. Wham, the car hit my bus. My bus took off without me in it.
Yeah.
I'm running along the side of my bus. I couldn't believe this. Luckily, the last lady getting off was in the stairwell, and she got back on and took the wheel.
Oh, really?
And she kept it from hitting a car. So I got the bus stopped again. We called in, and I still remember his name, Algie, black guy, really nice guy, wonderful guy. And he gets out there, and he starts writing up all the paperwork. He's just finishing the paperwork. Wow! A ranchero slammed into the back of Robert Chong's bus. And Algie threw his paperwork up in the air. He said, I'm going to be here all night. He said, because I was the lead boss, he said, I can go.
Yeah.
I got down to the loop and I was right on time. 2 hours later. I couldn't believe it. I said, you've got to be kidding me. I got that bus downtown and I was so glad to get off.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow. Oh.
See, that's a smoother stop.
Oh yeah, then coming right in and
I couldn't believe I was running beside my bus.
Oh, I know.
Whoa.
One day I want to do, if they ever bring the Spruce Meadows back, they got a couple of old MCIs.
That's right. Yep.
Old 1990s MCIs. Gonna get on them, I'll just walk on the stairs.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be nice to film.
Right. You know what I did it last June actually. I went up to Cold Lake. They have two of our old classics up there. That they don't run them in regular service anymore.
Right.
Because they have two Novas now.
Yeah.
But when one of them's out for servicing, they run the classic.
Okay.
So I went up and I got some
What
service.
numbers were they? They were former numbers.
They were, the one I was on was I think 5079, and the other one's 5083.
Oh yeah, you probably driven them too.
Which one?
50, 79, 50, 83 are up there.
Oh, absolutely.
Classics, yeah.
5083, boy, not much. But 5079, you said?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 5079, yeah.
This is my least favorite part when we're going downhill. He forgets to brake.
Oh, yeah.
Then you end up over speeding.
That's right.
Yeah, because the newest one, 5083, you said?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that was now Cold Lake 5007.
Okay.
And they got, what else? 5009 or 5005 is in service there, and one of them.
They have kind of a classic graveyard up there because they bought I think like 10 of our old ones, but they only use 2.
Okay.
And they're just the contingency buses. So.
Those were MCIs, weren't they? The
Yeah.
That's like,
So I have photos I can show you maybe in Saddletown.
That's
it's
like-
just like a graveyard.
But it's funny you mentioned that those two buses are at Cold Lake.
Yeah.
Because get this, it must be a year and a half ago or so,
Yeah.
a friend of mine in Airdrie, he sent me an email. And get this, in Ontario, this man and lady, they had, I think it was a farmer and acreage.
Okay.
So, for several years, he had wanted to refurbish a bus.
Right.
It was coming up on his birthday.
Okay.
So she started looking around, see if she could buy a bus for him. Get this. You know where it was?
Cold Lake.
No,
Oh.
Calgary.
Oh, really?
I couldn't believe it. I think she paid $15,000.
Okay.
And it was about a 600 series. One of the old 600 series.
Okay.
And Transit sold it to her. I don't know how he got down here. Maybe he flew, but he came down and got it.
Yeah.
It was drivable,
Really?
and he drove it back. And on the way, he was picking up some hitchhikers. I couldn't believe this. I'm
That's
like,
funny.
and he's got it in Ontario, and and he can take them around on his acres.
That's pretty neat.
That is. That's a great idea.
So I know of one guy here who actually he bought an old Victoria
Right.
and it was sitting in whose yard? I think it was Trax's yard or something.
Right.
Or Brewster's yard.
Oh, okay.
Brewster's yard on 50th Avenue.
Right.
It was just sitting there for years, and he said, "Okay, I want to buy it and I want to like fix
Right.
it up."
Yeah.
And he runs it. It's
Wow.
old Victoria 871, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. I couldn't believe what I was reading. He drove that back to Ontario.
I heard of one guy, I think in Newfoundland, bought a classic here, and they could only go as fast as like 80 on the highway or something. But they drove it all the way back to like I think it's Nova Scotia.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Hard to believe this stuff happens. You know, in the early 70s, a guy went and took a plane
yeah.
and he refurbished it, but he could drive it.
Right.
I don't know how that's possible because technically, well, I think he took the wings off of it. Anyhow, he was getting 500 gallons to the mile. Well, I think that's what it was, something like that. It was just ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And another guy bought one down in the States and he refurbished it to live in.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I saw it. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
That made sense.
So, you know,
But yeah, it was crazy. The mileage was just, I guess starting it up alone.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would cost. What was that, Ethan?
you know the MCRs, like you said, when they bought them, they stopped using them for regular service. When was that? A couple years down the...
Yeah, 14 around. That's right, yeah, because they did buy a few, and they used a few of them in regular service. You're talking about Cold Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used a few of them in regular service, but then in 2018, I think, they bought two Novas, and so they just use those. Then they have two as contingency units, and then the rest are just kind of parts.
Yeah.
So.
Just like their 76s. They're up at Stony being used for parts.
Right.
Now, see, another thing, I love Elvis, eh?
Oh, yeah.
And I read as much as I can. I got 15 books still to read about him.
Okay.
And one time, this book, Sonny West, he was actually, I think it was Red West's cousin.
Okay.
And that's how we got to meet him. And he became his bodyguard.
Okay.
So one time, Elvis said he was getting tired of flying commercial.
Right.
So he said, I want Sonny, I want you to buy me a plane. Sonny looked at him, he said, I don't know the first thing about buying planes. He said, whatever. He said, you take care of it.
Right.
And that's I mean, he's the boss.
Right.
So luckily, Lamar Fife was a very good friend of Elvis's, and
Right.
Lamar knew quite a bit about planes.
Okay.
So Lamar had some contacts, and get this, they flew down to Las Vegas and met this guy, and he drove them out to the desert, and it was just, Sonny said when we got there, it was just like you go to a car dealership. Middle of the desert, and these planes,
Yeah.
he had, I don't know exactly how many, but probably well over 100.
Yeah.
He had all these planes. And so they started looking at these planes, and he's asking about this one and that one, and they're going through. I guess you have to drive in a car, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he said out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And I don't know about security. This whole thing is crazy.
Yeah.
So they were asking about this one plane. He said, what's wrong with that one? And he said, oh, there's actually nothing wrong with that. He said it was just too heavy on fuel on takeoff, and they didn't want it.
Yeah.
And it's great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And they bought that plane. That became the Lisa Marie.
Huh.
Yeah. He refurbished the whole thing. Wow. It was awesome inside. But it was so weird. I never thought of that.
Yeah, like a plane dealership.
A plane dealership.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was out in the middle of the desert, and you just go, that's amazing.
Well, if you got a lot of money and a lot of space, I mean,
And you know what's
why not, right?
funny? I say that because I have researched a couple of cars that I found interesting over the years. And a few years ago, I happened to be researching the DeLorean.
Okay.
Can you believe there's a company in the States and that's all they deal with?
Yeah, you know, let's say I heard something about it.
Unbelievable. They've got the parts, they've got all these DeLoreans. You can buy one if you want. I wouldn't, but it was interesting. Another one I researched that I really liked, it wasn't the black and gold Trans Am that Burt Reynolds drove in Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, okay.
That was 77. And there's some minor details that are different by 81. Actually, probably even 1980. 80 and 81, they were the same one. So I started researching this. And again, I came across a company down in the States, and I could not believe it. It must have been 50,000 square feet or whatever it was. All black and gold Trans Ams. Whoa!
Speaking of planes, did you hear they started phasing out the 747s?
No, I didn't.
So, well, I mean, they've been flying since 1969, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One day I am gonna film an A380 if I get a chance, post the takeoff on my channel.
I've been on one of those, I think.
So your camera limit is only half an hour? I can get at least 3 hours or more on this before the battery's done.
Yeah, the battery is what they're doing, yeah.
But you know what? My battery from all the videoing surprisingly does pretty well. That's why I like a Samsung.
Oh, yeah.
That's a controversy about Apple, though.
Yeah.
What's the controversy?
Battery life.
Oh,
They've
yeah,
always
Yeah. Well, they're working on that.
Well, I had that actually where I had one of the old original iPads.
Right.
And I updated it, they have, new software update, okay, fine. I clicked start and it crashed the whole thing.
Oh.
It just you couldn't turn it on, you couldn't do anything to it. So you take it in, oh yeah, it's toast.
So after we're done, do you have to hop back on whatever train to go back?
So did you get reimbursed for anything?
Oh no, we had to pay $110 for a new one.
Oh.
I was like, we were
But you didn't do
done
anything
with,
wrong.
We were done with Apple at that point.
Of
Because
course.
it's just you're making us pay to get a replacement after your software update crashed the thing.
Yeah.
And I think it came out maybe last year or 2 years ago or whatever, where they were intentionally doing that. You'd download this update and it would slow the battery life so that, I better go get a new phone,
That's
So it's
like Timex.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I had a beautiful watch that I had bought back when Zellers was around.
Oh yeah.
And I'd been looking at it for years, and it was beautiful, black and gold imitation Rolex.
Okay.
It was an $80 watch, and that's why I couldn't afford it back years ago.
Right.
But when I was in Zellers in Shaughnessy, I was going to buy it, and because it was $40.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, half off.
Yeah.
And I was going to buy it, and she said, don't tell anybody, but you're going to knock 20% off. I said, what? So I waited about 4 or 5 days, and I went back, and sure enough, 20% is another $8.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I got it for $34 and the GST.
Yeah.
But the problem is, years ago, a long time ago, Timex closed out their office in Calgary, and the only one in Canada is in Toronto.
Okay.
Well, this one I had a glitch in it, a minor glitch. And I wanted to get it fixed. And I went to the Bay, and they said, no, we couldn't fix it. But they said, try Sears. And I went down to Sears, and they had to get a part. I think that's why the Bay couldn't fix it.
Okay.
So they said, I said, oh, okay, no problem. Can you order it?
Yeah.
They shook their head, and they said I would have to send this watch to Toronto to get it fixed and have it shipped back. And I just shook my head. I said, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
That they won't send a part? And like you, I said, I'm done with it. Never.
It's I'm good with this. Yeah. No,
And
thanks.
in the 70s, Timex was top of the line.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you said there's a delay with one of the trains?
I think there was, yeah. I don't know if it was now, but
Oh, the Red Line. The Red Line had 2 C train accidents a couple weeks
That's right.
ago.
Yeah,
You
and I
told
heard that on the news.
2 C train accidents in the same day.
Well,
I've had the same train get into 2 accidents.
yeah, what it was there was an accident, but then the second one was a medical emergency.
Yeah.
That delayed the train. Yeah.
I had one. I was 17. I was working at the movie theater. by Northbrook there.
Yeah.
And so I would take the bus to Brentwood. This was when I was living northwest. So I would take the bus to Brentwood, take the bus to Brentwood, and then get on the bus. And it's late at night, it's snowing, it's cold, and I get to Brentwood, no problems. And then, the train's delayed. Well, why? Oh, it hit a car downtown. I think it was at 3rd Street. Well, okay, fine. So we wait